We're back as the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Ak.
And I'm Barack, the boxing bully.
2 fights this weekend. I'm excited about this homecoming fight for Regis Prograis. And also, Tim Tszyu is coming off a big win. Carlos Ocampo is trying to derail him. We'll get into both of those fights here on the opening bell. All right, Barack, let's start off with Tim Tszyu and Carlos Ocampo. Look, Tim Tszyu is slated to fight Jermell Charlo at some point, right? I mean, that's a fight that has been bubbling. That's a fight that the world wants to see, especially in that division. And we all know he wants to become undisputed Tim Tszyu. I don't see, look, he's a heavy favorite. He's a minus 900 in this fight against Ocampo. I don't see any upsets. I don't smell any upsets. You know, there are those fights where guys are heavy favorite, but you say, hey, this is a good bet. This is a good bet. This is not one of those fights, Barack. No. Anything can happen, you know, but nah, I don't see that happening. Do you remember Errol Spence versus Ocampo? Errol Spence finished him with a left to the body and a right to the body, dropped him. I think he didn't get up for about 30 seconds. You know, that's the fight that I had to watch again just to see Ocampo, only because Tim Tszyu is another stalker, not like Errol Spence, not the same style, but he's a stalker nonetheless. And I just don't see how Ocampo could get away from his heavy shots. Now, look, when you talk about Harrison's a very, very good boxer. He was outboxing Hurd. He was even outboxing Jermell Charlo in spots, you know, and got caught, you know. So it gets to you eventually. Tim Tszyu gets to you eventually. And I think he's very heavy-handed enough to finish the job, possibly. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is going to be a short breakdown of a fight because obviously you broke the whole fight down. Barack, I agree with you. Just shots are too heavy, and I just can't see how Ocampo is going to place a threat. I want to see the Jermell Charlo fight just as everybody else.
Yeah, but you got to give credit for Tim Tszyu for taking these fights, man, especially the Harrison fight. Because even Harrison, in the build-up to the fight beforehand, he was saying, man, I got to give you credit for taking this fight because I'm about to derail all your plans. Didn't do it, but it was still scary. And fighters don't necessarily do it. That's like Katie Taylor fighting Cameron before the Amanda Serrano rematch, you know? And it's just scary. I mean, Ocampo is not like Harrison, but still, it's another fight. He wants to stay busy. He wants to be even sharper for the day that he does fight Jermell. But what this tells me now is you just got 2 fights in there.
Right.
Who's to say Jermell, when he's come back, is not going to say, hey, I need me a tune-up fight.
And just
or maybe he's cut from that, you know, same cloth as Errol Spence and say, bring it on.
You know, you mentioned that what Errol was able to do with Ocampo, but let's be clear, it's a long time since then. Maybe he's better at 154. He did have a decent outing.
He went right up to 154.
He did have a decent outing against Sebastian Fundora. Like, it was a war.
That's true.
And he held his own there. So I think that he fares a lot better at 154. So maybe he'll give Tim Tszyu some problems as long as that fight lasts.
That's a good point, because literally went up to 154 right after Errol Spence, and maybe it was tough at that time making 147, and maybe that served him better. So you might be right.
Yeah, I mean, he won 10, 12 fights straight, so at 154. So let's move on to the next one. He's one of the hottest guys in boxing at 140. He's making his homecoming fight in New Orleans, and that's Regis Prograis. Barack, he wants the big fights. We talked about it early in the week. Regis Prograis wanted that get back with Josh Taylor. I don't know if he still feels the same way about it after Teofimo winning the way he did. So Zorrilla is the guy in front of him. Also a replacement. Maybe he's supposed to fight Paro. So this is a showcase fight, and I don't want to be disrespectful. I like to be honest and candid with our viewers. I mean, this is not a fight where I feel like Regis is going to have any threat at all. Now, this is boxing. It is the theater of the unexpected. You never know. Somebody could have an off night. But what's at stake for Regis? His debut fight on Matchroom, the potential fight that Eddie's been talking about, Devin Haney to be, at 140.
I was going to say undisputed, but Devin is undisputed at 135. So he'll be beltless at 140, in his first fight, unless he fights Teofimo Lopez, and even then. So I think there's too much at stake. Regis is a guy that's always in shape. I think he's going over there to show his hometown a show.
I don't agree. I feel like Zorrilla might not get the victory. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying, I think he's going to give some problems. I think he's real good at counterpunching. If you remember that Barboza fight, he was outboxing Barboza. He was counterpunching. He was timing him very well. Boom, with that hook as Barboza was coming in. But eventually Barboza got to him and broke him down.
He's more of an underdog than even Carlos Ocampos is to Tim Tszyu. Just so you know, so mine is a plus 750.
No, all I'm saying
is 1600 for Regis.
Let's just say Zorrilla's in shape. I know he's a last minute replacement, but let's just say he's in tip top shape. Now I do know that Regis Prograis is a power puncher, and he'll stalk you like Barboza. It seems like Barboza's a bigger guy. I don't know, but he doesn't have the power that Regis has. I'm just saying I think it might take Regis some time, unless he jumps on him, but I think it might take him a little bit of time to get that distance right and to time him, because he's going to be trying to time Regis, all night. Right. So I think it's going to give him a little bit of problems, but you say that Regis wants to fight the big fights, that's because Regis is 34 years old. He didn't really make a name for himself to most people until he was in his 30s.
Right. To his credit, he's been calling big names out for a very long time.
No doubt.
He's won at those fights. He did fight Josh Taylor, who's undisputed at 140. So we shall see. I disagree with you. I don't think Zorrilla is going to be much of a challenge for.
No, but I say he's going to be a challenge the first few rounds. Right. I think he's crafty. He's skillful.
Well, you guys heard the odds for both of those fights. Make sure you go to DraftKings to check out the latest odds, but make sure you gamble responsibly. That's it for us. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.
Introducing the new DAZN Boxing Show podcast. No matter the time or the place, getting your boxing content has become easier than ever. Tune in as we give you exclusive insights, predictions, fight night recaps, and more alongside the biggest names in the game. All for free. Available globally every Thursday across all audio streaming platforms, and with new episodes dropping weekly to give you the latest news. Just type in the DAZN Boxing Show podcast, listen in, and enjoy.